Okay. Masculinity and femininity. Recently, I think I've put it together that masculinity is pretty harmonious. But I haven't quite put my finger on femininity. And I mean, that's not to say I don't have the answer swimming around me and I'm just, not quite putting it together yet. Or maybe I'm trying to, I don't know, not deny it or something like that. I think this was my theory that femininity is passionate. Like if we can sum up masculinity and femininity, how women are with each other and how men are with each other. Men tend to be very harmonious with each other. There's not always a lot of talking. I've talked about this with my INTP husband. And some of it was that he thinks that he thinks that men don't really talk as much because it's kind of a way to say, like, I trust your competence. Because women are like, okay, let's put this here and move it over just a little bit, and what do you think? The angle will look better here or here while they're doing stuff. Men, he was saying anyways, that it seems like there's just kind of a physical understanding, like everybody picks something heavy up and carries it. No one's really talking about it because they trust the other man's competence. I mean, unless obviously there's something super important that needs to be said. But even then, there's probably like a code, not code, but like, yeah, I guess a code, like something that is followed basically within that, where it's understood that it's like an order or something rather than a critique, which is fascinating to me. So one time on Text Friends, I didn't want to say what my sex was, I feel really bad for the person that I did this for, but I let him believe that I was a dude, I think. I don't know. And it was so fascinating. I'd never experienced this before in my life, but he was just super understanding and super gentle in a way like bro to bro. And it was like, I mean, I'm obviously not a bro. I have no idea what it's like to actually be a man, but I'm just saying from my experience, the way he treated me was very accepting. It was amazing. So, I mean, how men talk to each other, with their strong suit being respect, in my opinion. Like, they're quieter, not because they're necessarily withdrawn or don't want to talk, but they're not as passionate as women are with what they say and what they express. I'd also say that women, I don't know, the women I've known, and then even me, like, I can be insecure. I think women crave security, and I think men do as well, but like I said, I think they do it in a way that's slightly different. Like the decisions they make are for harmony, you know what I mean? And harmony, not just like everyone's feelings needs to be whatever, but I'm saying like harmonious life, like a steady life. Like a lot of men are concerned about their wallet. They want stability. They want enough money to be like, okay. I mean, some people want to climb, and that's normal. But I'd say a lot of the people that want to climb tend to not have as harmonious of a life as those who want to, whose focus is to keep things stable for the people around them. And then, of course, we can go into expectations that men have. I'm a strong advocator of men's rights, and I know that men have the expectation to provide and all this other stuff. And I don't think it matters if a man or woman provides, but I do think there are societal expectations that men need to provide and women need to have babies. And I don't see having babies as any wrong thing. I've had two, and I love them. But some people don't, and that's okay too. So but I am thinking through, like, how does that also play into at least the USA's idea of, or culture, masculine culture. I mean, that's probably way too broad, but I've lived in multiple places, and I don't know, with all the people I know, I'd say men really do want stability, right? But then, so what are women? I say passionate because they're more likely to voice their opinion. They're more likely to talk about stuff. And if a woman tells you, like, hey, we need to put this over here, and why don't we lift it, blah, 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 to a guy, they're not saying it because they think the guy is incompetent. They're just communicating, because communication, I think, with women is very important. Which is fascinating. Like, why are women so auditory? Why are men more physical, you know? And I would say this is beyond MBTI types even, with that physical understanding of each other, you know, and just, maybe it's that to show, like, the silence that shows that they believe in the other person's competence, as a, you know, as a sign of respect. You know how deaf people get better eyesight? I wonder if men, because of this, like, drive, I guess, you know, innate, whatever, that they get a better physical understanding of things, which is fascinating. Like, they grow into that, or maybe they just naturally have it, because, I mean, XXXY, we're very different, and that's very fascinating. And then, okay, so I didn't grow up with a great mother. She was a sociopath. Yay. And I've done a lot of healing, but I wasn't really welcomed into the world of women, in my opinion. I've met a lot of great women since then who have been welcoming and who have had healthy relationships with other women, and so it's hard for me to naturally see healthy femininity and, like, what to be scared of, because, I mean, you grew up with a sociopathic mother, like, the one who should be there for you and loving and welcoming you into the feminine world was dangerous and scary and narcissistic, you know what I mean? Like, it made me not really trust women that much, to be honest, for a very long time. I've softened up a lot in the past couple of years, especially, but I do have blind spots still. Like, I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel like women are looking to me for cues, like returned cues to them as women. And I don't always, like, I can be polite, of course, but, like, I don't know all the time what they're looking for. I mean, I can also be very, like, I had to learn to have a very straight face, because my mother would punish me for having feelings different than her. So maybe that kind of plays into it too. I mean, you know, it could be a lot of things even. It could just be that I'm more defensive in general, and not just, maybe just towards people in general. I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole. But I want to explore how women communicate between each other. And I don't just mean, like, gossip. I think men and women can gossip. And I think gossip is bullshit, by the way. Like, I don't give a fuck what Tiffany's wearing, or if those shoes make her head look large. Like, that doesn't say anything about her character. I don't get it. It seems like a waste of time to me. And I mean, I think that's kind of distanced me from a lot of women because I'm not really into that. But I listen, you know what I mean? And I try to comment on things I care about, not like people, but like, oh yeah, that reminds me of a study that was done in the late 70s about, you know, shoe size being correlated with IQ or something like that. I don't think there was actually a study of that, but yeah. So women, passionate. I mean, does that make sense? I'm trying to think, like, passionate in the sense that they will talk about things more. They will put out more emotion and be more colorful in that sense than a lot of men. Not saying men aren't emotional. I think men are emotional very deeply on a different like plane than women. They show it differently, I guess. I don't really know how to say it. I think I can pick it up pretty well though, but that's because I've hung out with a lot of guys. Yeah. So women are more colorful in that sense, or I don't know, you know, like if guys are like this, no, I think guys are like this, just on a different plane, and women are like this on a different plane. So then, I don't know. See, this is where the block comes in, because it's like I try to look at myself, I try to look at other women, but I don't really know how to sum them up, unless, I don't know. I mean, I think women, I don't know, men and women have a softness to them. Everybody has that sort of tenderness. I think men and women can both be nurturing, also in their own ways. But I mean, I would say that MBTI types determine how you treat your kids to some degree, how you were raised, and whether you're a man or a woman, and the culture that you were raised in, of course, and how much knowledge you have of neuroscience and child development. So, okay, I guess I'll just try to talk it out. Women, I feel like blink. Women talk a lot to each other. A lot of women do anyways. I know that certain women do not. Yep, this is all just question marks to me right now. I definitely think there is femininity and masculinity, and I can see the difference on some level, but and I know that it exists. I also know that we are all held to certain same standards as men and women, as people. Yeah, I guess I can't really frame out the culture of women, you know what I mean? Like, I can think of certain cultures that have certain types of women, like in, well, I'm not going to go there right now, but as a whole, how do women relate to each other? I guess that's really the main question. And I guess it also depends on your love language. But yeah, if you can help me out here, I would really appreciate it.